Gundam Epyon. Hey again everybody, Robert184, Gundam.tk. Good to have you here as I continue my look at the parts of the Master Grade Epyon before it all gets put together into something that looks similar to that. The head on the Master Grade is an instant win, from the gray details on the inside, the camera lenses, to the ears and the fact that they've got those little details in there that you could go ahead and add some painting or lining to it. But it's the front. I remember when I first saw some of the promo images of this, I thought it looked a little bit mouse-like. But seeing it in person, I think they got the head just perfect, from the details like these red parts that run down into the gray helmet, and the white fin, or the white face guard there that goes over the red part, which is actually a little bit oversized. And the eyes, they seem to stand out a lot, even though they're just regular foil stickers, so either they allowed more space, or just because it's not a standard white Gundam head, it really stands out. And the V-fin is a little bit smaller than expected, but it comes across as looking just the right proportions. Here's the old high-grade head, and you'll notice that it's not lined on the front. It does have the red goatee, but not the full red below. And it does actually have these red parts which come forward, which I have to give them credit for. And the V-fin, I don't know if you have any more luck keeping yours on. This one falls off at the drop of a hat, and nothing fancy at all about the neck mechanism or its ability to keep its ears on. When I line these up shoulder to shoulder, you may notice that the Master Grade's head is so much smaller, sleeker, more streamlined completely. The V-fin smaller, the ears are smaller, everything is thinner, in addition to the fact that it just has this much detail. And its neck does look a little high. I wonder if that'll be improved once it's actually on the model itself. Onto the wings, which I'll start with a wide view. First of all, that's the connecting mechanism, and it does have little red parts down here with the bonus of gray inner frame. Impressive. When you put all these things on, you're able to bend these up and down here, and you just have these holding them on. But it's the little details, like the way you put them together. They're not made out of that many red pieces, but then you add the blue trim over the top, which really makes them look good together, and the gray fits inside for a very good aesthetic appearance. For the bend, you're able to bring them forward, although the body will be in the way, and quite a bit to the back, and you're able to rotate them not down, but you are able to bring them up by about this much, so I'm sure you can do quite a few dynamic poses. Probably the best feature, though, is that you may notice the appearance of the wings is different here, and if I can get this to work well, you're able to pop that out and just have a whole bunch more of dragon-looking type wings. Very impressive, I'm sure, when you get this posed properly. And it seems like I'm picking on the high grade, but it's the wings that really show how different they are. First of all, the backpack, at least you do have movable thrusters. This part is just on a polycap that moves like this, and the wing is just a solid piece. You may say it actually looks good, but if you saw it really up close, you'd see that it's just Sharpie that may spill over its lines sometimes, and that's the extent. You're just going to have one solid piece. Sort of have my hand in the shot here, but when you talk about why Master Grades are better, look at the difference in the size here. When I put them side by side, there is absolutely no contest in terms of size. I'm a little more concerned about weight issues than I was previously, but just the amount of detail, the fact that they give you all the paneling, you don't need any painting or Sharpies, and you get to pull out these dragon type parts, in addition to the size, is already making this a clear favorite of mine. For the beam sword, which impressed me so much when I first saw the plates, just because it is custom for the Master Grade Epyon, hopefully we'll get that for more Master Grades, like if they ever did a GPO 2A, well, I'm probably just dreaming of giving a 2.0 of that, but DX specifically, big green blades, that's a win. And for size comparison, here it is compared to a lining marker. Nothing too complex down here, everything fits on, makes a cool sound when you put it together, and when you compare it to the old one I have to give credit to just the fact that it is pretty unique, but the size is very telling for the actual hilt. And while the old one just had a small piece of hollow wiring, here you've actually got a very solid piece of copper wire, which plugs in very securely, it seems, to this part, which is going to attach onto the hip, and to this attachment here, which when you plug it in, you're going to have a fairly impressive looking battery charged weapon. As impressive as the beam sword is, though, Epyon has to be more well known for its heat rod, and this weapon certainly doesn't disappoint outside of the tedium of putting together 10 of these little segments. So first of all, with the shield, you've got a big solid gray piece there, a very cool looking mount mechanism, and you're able to bend this out of the way. You can actually take this battery pack and attach it to the black part at on the end of the base of the sword, and plug that in there for storage. So again, props to them for just giving you that much playability, and the way the gray, the red, and the blue shows there is great. Now, my only complaint so far is just about how loose this is down here, but otherwise this whole thing has a very interesting mechanism built into it where it's designed to stay rigid, but you can individually pop out each one, and when you do that then you're going to have the freedom to move them and bend this into whichever shape you want. And the fact that you can keep some of them attached together while others are free just really increases your posing possibilities to the nth degree. The old one's not too far off in terms of size, but the actual quality, again, here you've just got a big empty plate here that just plugs into the wrist. This is colored on with black, and otherwise here you just have a single poly cap which keeps that in there, which isn't going to keep it in place in the slightest. And all of these parts, they don't have a lock mechanism, but they are actually pretty stiff plastic, so just by that nature, they're going to stay in place without using the kind of engineering marvel that they've installed in the inside of this. That completely wraps up my look at the parts, and again, it comes across as being a little bit harsh on this old guy, and it's worth reminding ourselves just how awesome this kit was back in 1995. And if they didn't have kits like this, then, well, we wouldn't be getting kits like this, because there just wouldn't be that many people that are still into it 15 years later, so kudos to this for what it did. However, just looking at the parts, this thing already has some many clear advantages, and I look forward to seeing if they're going to win when they're all put together, because already you see how different the size of the wings are when I put them side by side here, and that worries me a little bit, but again, it's all got to be found out when we put it together. So thanks for watching, everybody. Stay tuned for the next part. Let me know what you think with a comment down below, and see you next time. Thanks for watching. The previous jokes were all brought to you by Transformers 3: Dark Side of the Moon.